question regarding the Muslim ladies confronting challenges from a promiscuous Western society. This is the nutshell of your question. First of all, it should be fully understood that it is not a Christian society which poses any challenges in that area, because no such society exists anywhere in the world today. Christianity has given in to immorality finally at a level of the church leadership. You see things today which were not unthinkable, no one could dream of such a thing, that the leadership of Catholic or other churches should debate the issue of whether homosexuals should be given ministerial offices in the church or not, while they read in the Bible what happened to the people of the Lot, the people of Lot. And now you see occasionally a bishop appearing on television saying that fornication is after all not that bad and difficult to meet the challenges, you know. So all this is happening to Christianity, and the challenge is both to Islam and Christianity together alike. My response would be that religious forces who are genuine and honest and dedicated to the cause of goodness should join hands in this. It should not be an issue where Muslims are left with alone by themselves to tackle this. Because if they do it, they cannot succeed. It will be very difficult for the Muslims in general to succeed. Because what happens here is a very complicated affair. When the Muslims take up these values, which are protective of chastity, then they are looked down upon as bringing in their foreign culture and obstructing the passage of civilization in our countries. Well, this is absolutely wrong. The fact is that these challenges are as much destructive to Christianity as to Islam, and both should join forces. Otherwise, Islam would be tackled on a different angle, from which would ultimately tend the society to become more racist, while the issue is much deeper than that. In fact, when these things happen in the society freely, then the crime is automatically promoted, all sorts of crime. And that crime which is promoted by certain attitudes of the society as such cannot be tackled properly at the police level. It results into some other more complicated problems. You see, the drugs, alcoholism, and this free mixing and things, permissiveness we may call it, are all part of the same game. They don't stand separately to each other, they are interrelated things. And this society as a whole gives birth to irresponsibility and crime, criminal attitudes, particularly among the youth.
Yes.
The poorer they are, more difficult it is for them to have access to the luxury which is being displayed on television with reference to American, film industry and things. They are, in fact, they are not even true pictures of America. They're just ethereal views of something, a luxury which creates excitement and works sentiments, while they does not increase your access to those luxuries at all. The result is that most of the poor people in the society, they are left in a state of excitement which they cannot fulfill. So it reflects on their views, attitudes, discipline, responsibilities, and then they say, all right, what may happen, we must have something of this pleasure, if not these higher level players of luxury, at least we should be permitted to escape from consciousness. That is alcoholism, drug addiction, and so on. And even the poor things do not have enough money for that either. So they have to mark, they have to break into the other people's houses, because driven by the urge of getting drug when you are addicted, once someone is addicted, is a very powerful force within you, from within man, which is very difficult to suppress. So a society which has already become less religious, which is not answerable to God anymore, why should it be answerable to whom man-made laws and man-made agencies? Yeah. So these things promote each other, you know. This complex irresponsibility grows and multiplies. The role of police, the more these things happen, the less effective the police becomes, because the problems are too big for the police to tackle. After a while, a stage arrives where the government exchequer holds its money from being, channeled into the police. They say no more. No. And what can we do then? How can we meet the crime? That's true. You have imposed restrictions on our interference with civil liberties. So all right, show some relaxation on these. Give police more power. And the result is devastating. Yes. Your country is now following the footsteps of those third world countries where police is the biggest challenge to peace and security. Police itself is. You have not drawn your lesson from what happened in France vis-a-vis Algerians in their country, and the free powers given to the police of France as compared to that of England. So I remember the time when I was here as a student, I never read a single complaint against police in those days in any newspaper. Only a word of praise. When you wanted police, it would appear from nowhere. Somehow, it would precipitate from thin air for your service. Yes. But here, when you don't want them, they precipitate, Yes. They appear suddenly and they play havoc with your peace. Sometimes they break into your houses, even within the short, our smaller denomination of Ahmadiyya experience. I know cases of absolutely innocent Ahmadis whose houses were broken into and doors were smashed suddenly in the middle of the night by police. And they decamped with everything they could lay their hands to. They said, we have been given authority. You can't do anything about it. And every time after 2 months suffering and misery, things were returned and the police had to admit there was no case. But nothing could be done against the police in that, because the police has been now given authorities to do that. So the more authorities you give, the more abusive the police itself becomes. This is the dilemma we are facing. So what my answer again is that we, as Muslims, we should join hands with genuine Christians who are loyal to Christian values, not the church, which only cares for its leadership. But for the people, the genuine Christians who are benign, who are genuine, who are philanthropists, we should tell them, come on, let's join forces and make societies which rise above racist deviance. Yes. Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Shukran.
Thank you. Jazakallah.